Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 20 of the Old Men Magic podcast. In today's episode, we review some of the big MTG market moves of the past week, and we discuss more pre-modern goblins, the toolbox goblins, the spicy goblins that I'm considering adding to my starting lineup goblins and some decks that I'm building. Let's get right into the episode. I hope you enjoy. Alex, I want to start today's show just by recognizing some influential individuals who were born on this day in history, December 25th. Number one, Justin Trudeau. Do you know Justin Trudeau, Alex?
I do know him. His birthday is on Christmas.
He's a statesman. He's the current and 23rd Prime Minister of Canada. Some say he's the hero that the Canadian people needed during the pandemic. Others say he's a Nazi, a medical fascist. Alex, Justin Trudeau has done blackface. Did you know that?
I did know that.
There are photographs of it online. Question for you. Justin Trudeau, alive or dead?
Alive.
Correct. Okay. Another person who was born on this day in history, Alex, December 25th, Dido. English singer and songwriter. Chanteuse.
Oh, okay.
Best known on this side of the pond for providing a sample to Eminem's 2000 hit Stan. Yeah. Alex, people seem to love Eminem right now. I hear like nothing other than good things about Eminem on the internet. And
really? Recently?
Yeah, like I remember Eminem. If you go back and listen to his shit, I think people forget how corny most of his music was. Eminem, terrible. But Alex, question for you. Dido, alive or dead?
Alive.
Correct. Third individual I would like to recognize today, Alex, Jesus of Nazareth. He was a talented carpenter. Some would say a troublemaker, a rabble-rouser, a cult leader. Most importantly, he is our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who died for our sins. Alex, question for you. Jesus of Nazareth, alive or dead? This is a complicated one.
That's a complicated question. Yeah. Don't know how to answer that. Dead and alive.
Correct, in my opinion. Died, risen, and will one day return. Some say he's here already. I'm not sure.
And if he is indeed also God himself, then
it gets even more complicated.
He's, alive, if God is alive.
But he is the reason that I can say to you today, Alex, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Are you having a good one?
Oh, yeah, very relaxed. We did our Christmas stuff like yesterday and the day before, so just hanging out.
I have done almost nothing. But just it's just me and my mom. We were going to drive up there, back to the hometown. But she got scared because of the bomb cyclone.
The bomb cyclone came right through.
I think the bomb cyclone is probably, I think it's probably fine to drive today. I don't even know if it's still cold out, but that's not a big deal. Neither one of us wanted to come in for just like one day.
Yeah.
I wanted to come in on Friday, and that was just not good.
It was shitty though for a minute though. It was super windy, super cold.
I started to go to work on Friday.
I was wondering if you were going to be going to work Friday because I know you have a commute.
Drove for about 20, 30 minutes, turned around.
Oh.
When there was a semi jackknifed across the highway in front of me and two other semis off the road. And even before that, I saw somewhere between 5 and 10 different cars in the ditch.
Yeah.
It was okay for a little while, but at some point I was just like, I got to turn around. And other people were like chiming in on Teams saying, I can't get out of my driveway. I'm turning around. Everybody just came back. So today's much nicer. And we're just having like a chill Christmas at home. We might come up next week. Got to figure out what's going on.
That'd be sweet.
So let's talk about some Magic the Gathering for Christmas, Alex.
All right. Yeah.
We got a few Magic the Gathering.
It's Christmas time
today.
Maybe
I got some.
We're getting cards. I hope they're cracking some good stuff.
Maybe. No, there's all sorts of huge deals. I don't follow like prices of new boxes and stuff. But
put my Christmas hat on.
Yeah, that's nice. Apparently, I think this has been happening for maybe several years around this time. There are like huge Amazon dumps for new sets, sealed boxes of new sets. And I'm seeing this for sets that people thought were out of print, like they're showing up on Amazon. I think Wizards is like dumping stuff from the warehouse, and they're being released on Amazon at prices even below like their initial sale price. So
I've heard people talking about it online, like wondering if it was going to happen as it did in past years or whatever. But I don't know what's really going on because I haven't looked.
I don't either, but it sounds like if you're into new stuff, like this is a pretty good time to pick some things up on Amazon.
So you did see some sales? Like you heard about some sales and stuff?
Yeah, I can't remember what sets specifically people mentioned, but I was just reading and they were showing the prices of new sets that have recently gone out of print. They've been released. There's obviously excess in the Wizards warehouse. They've been released to Amazon. People are picking them up. But I had some follow-ups I wanted to do to last episode real quick.
Sweet, yeah, me too.
First was I talked about this Deckmasters Garfield versus Finkel thing.
Yeah.
This came up during our Goblin Mutant discussions. I don't know why this wasn't obvious to me when we were talking. I was just in the moment and I wasn't thinking. But Garfield is clearly Richard Garfield, creator of Magic the Gathering.
Yes.
And this is like this special decks that they put out. They had Richard Garfield and John Finkel, who's a MTG champion, design decks to play against one another, and then they released them in this fancy box set. The reason why it included Goblin Mutant and the reason why it was so weird is because it needed to be made. The decks needed to be made from Ice Age and Alliances.
Yeah,
only.
And only 4 rares.
Yes, and only 4 rares. So that's why you ended up with.
And I had read about this, so I remember that it was decks they had to make, based on like current sets and with some certain rules, but I didn't remember the details really. But yeah, so that's why they have weird cards in there, kind of. Because
we were like, Goblin Mutant, who plays Goblin Mutant? I actually looked up Goblin Mutant in some like deck databases afterwards to see if it showed up in any decks. I'm sure some people played it just as a goof, but if it showed up in like any competitive decks, I couldn't find it anywhere. The only like deck that I could search in a publicly available database that actually ran Goblin Mutant was this deck in Deckmasters Garfield versus Finkel.
Nice.
The other thing is, I was thinking when we were talking about a Goblin King, I was like, I know there are a bunch of reasons why you would want to make sure you pump up your goblins +1/+1. I talked about Pyroclasm, which will even clear them out if they're pumped up just +1/+1, because that does 2 damage to everything. But I knew there were a lot of things. I just wasn't thinking of them in the moment. They can kill your 1/1 creatures, but can't kill them if they're 2/2 and you have a Goblin King in play. Caltrops, you talked about that later in the episode, of course. You don't want to attack into Caltrops if you have 1/1 goblins. But then also there's Engineered Plague, which is played like crazy in Premodern.
Engineered, pull that out. I'm not sure if I know that card. I was going to mention, since you're bringing it back up, I was going to mention Simoon at that time. But I didn't. I think
I bought some Simoons recently.
I have two or 3. I was going to hold them to use against you when you started playing white weenies at me.
You son of a bee.
Yeah, I know.
You son of a bee. I'm playing in goblins, I'm playing in white weenies, and you're over there hoarding cards that do 1 damage. Guess what, Alex? I'm getting Goblin Kings. I'm getting Crusades. I'm getting other things with Crusade-like effects that have been printed since Crusade.
You're going to need Crusade. All right, get Crusades. All right.
Engineered Plague, 2 colorless, 1 black. Enchantment. As Engineered Plague comes into play, choose a creature type. All creatures of chosen type get -1/-1. So it's a tribal hoser. And it does.
I don't know that card.
Severe damage to elves decks and goblin decks. It was printed first in one of the Urzas. Yeah, Urza's Legacy.
So, interesting.
It's cheap. I have 4 sitting in my next TCG player order because it's.
This looks to me like a card
29 cents a piece.
I would think was interesting or maybe useful at first, and then I would try to play it and realize that it sucked.
It's all over the place in pre-modern sideboards, at least. If people don't run a main deck, it's very common in sideboards. For things like goblins, and then I don't know what this is supposed to be. Is this a dinosaur?
That's some dinosaur.
I have not yet gotten into the whole dinosaur meta. I know dinosaurs were printed in different sets after we stopped playing. Maybe you want to think dinosaurs would be 1/1. So.
Well, that's clearly like humanoid.
It is.
So
is it a Viashino of some sort?
Oh, yeah, that's a good guess. That's probably like a humanoid dino Viashino guy.
I never got into Viashinos either, and I actually don't really know what they are.
Well, I mean, when Mirage came out, like they, and stuff, whatever, they hadn't explored it too well, and there weren't too many of them, so I don't think any of them were really good yet. They were just kind of a couple bad. I don't know.
That's what it seemed like. Another one, Alex. Plague Spitter. We've talked about Plague Spitter.
Have we? Okay, I'm glad we have, because I was thinking about bringing it up again. If we had
colorless, 1 black, 2/2. When Plague Spitter is put into the graveyard from play, deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. More importantly, I skipped the first part of the card. At the beginning of your upkeep, Plague Spitter deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. So yeah. If you got a bunch of 1/1 goblins out, I do too. I like it a lot.
It's kind of like a Mog Fanatic, like a little chunkier Mog Fanatic.
We've talked plenty of times, if not on the podcast, offline a little bit, about both wanting to play with decks where we just keep playing a bunch of things that do 1 damage to everybody every turn. Copper Tablets, Forsaken Waste, Plague Spitters. And I just want to run those cards and just like counter everything my opponent does, and we'll just be like, we're just going to run the clock down and see who dies first. Mm-hmm. Maybe a lightning bolt you to speed it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Throw that little ding in there to get someone. Yep.
It's probably not a fun deck for anybody at all to play against, but it would be really fun for me to like try to optimize a deck like that. So these were the 2 that I thought about. I'm sure there's a ton more, but these are the 2 that I thought about after the show. And I'm like, I should have brought those up in the context of Goblin King, because Plague Spitter's played in Premodern too. Probably a lot of other formats.
Okay.
Other thing is, I'm thinking of starting a petition, Alex, maybe like a change.org or something. I got to start collecting signatures because I want to petition Wizards of the Coast to re-errata Goblin King so that it does give itself +1/+1. And I also want to demand that they errata Lord of Atlantis and Zombie Master to make Lord of Atlantis a merfolk and Zombie Master a zombie, because I think they should also give themselves +1/+1.
It's very sensible to me.
I agree. Okay. Glad we're on the same page.
I'll be your first signature.
Great. I'm gonna start that petition. I'm gonna pin it on our Twitter when we start to get famous. We get a lot of people watching the show, coming to read our tweets. We're gonna get a bunch of signatures. It's gonna go straight to the top. It's gonna go straight to Morrow. What's his name? Mark Rosewater.
Mark Rosewater. Yeah.
And then it's going to go from Mark Rosewater to whoever the lady that's the head of Wizards of the Coast. And then it's going to go from that lady to the CEO of Hasbro. I think his name is Chris Cox. So just wait for this petition, Chris Cox. It's going to end up on your table soon, on your desk.
Yeah. If you want to know what's in it, just wait, because it'll be there.
Next thing, before we get into the big segments for the day, I think we have a couple other little things we want to talk about. One is a news segment. I don't really have much to discuss here, but it was something that I saw and I went, ooh, that excites me, potentially. And it was an article that I saw somebody tweet. EDH rules member suggests potential reserved ban list. So there's talk of banning reserve list cards in Commander, which for all I know, this talk's been going on forever and it's never happened yet and maybe never will happen. I don't know because haven't been paying attention to Commander. But this is the first time I saw it, and I would be excited for a reserve list ban in Commander for purely selfish reasons. It would really just be my first and really only thought was that, ooh, this means people won't run dual lands in Commander any longer, which I feel like people run multicolor Commander decks. I imagine most Commander decks are multicolored. They have so many cards in them. You're going to want to have a dual land, and most people play Commander. So if you start banning those cards, you're going to have a bunch of people that are going to have dual lands that don't really have much need for. And
I see where you're going. I see where you're going.
Bring the prices of revise the dual lands down further, and then I can reestablish my position in revised dual lands that I sold out of back in the early to mid 2000s.
Yes, but then you can't play them in Commander.
But I don't play Commander. I also can't play them in Premodern, which is what I'm building decks for. But maybe I'll get into old school. Again, I don't mind playing old school without Power 9. I don't mind playing unpowered old school. I don't care.
Oh, neither do I.
What I am bothered by is trying to play old school with no friggin' dual lands.
Yes, I agree. For sure.
It makes me puke, just the thought of it. That's why I went into Premodern, because I'm like, fine, I'll just buy the pain lands. Nobody's running dual lands, so I don't care that I'm taking the 1 damage to get the multicolored land, whatever. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this potential reserve list ban in Commander. That's all I thought. I was like, ooh, dual lands. People will sell their dual lands.
I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of cards. A lot of them aren't very good. You know what I mean? Like,
this is what a lot of the people. I don't know that there was like a much of a positive reaction when this guy tweeted this out. Most of the comments were kind of negative, and they were saying something along the lines of what you were saying. Like, what's the point of doing a blanket reserve list ban when really most of the reserve list cards aren't even played in Commander?
Right. Like, they're not even playable. They're not playable.
You're going to ban over like what? Close to like 500 cards, really, just to eliminate ban, 10 cards, 20 cards.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe there'll be a more targeted reserve list ban. That would actually probably be more sensible.
Yeah, and that's fine with me. I'm okay with that. If Commander is supposed to be like a semi, I understand that there's like there's casual and competitive Commander. You know what I mean? Like, some people play competitively and stuff, but like, for the most part, it's a more, informal, casual format. It's more kitchen table-y a little bit. So, I can understand banning, dual lands from it, or something like that. That's like a very expensive, old, reserved list card that is, an auto include for certain colors or for combos of colors. That's fine. I understand that, but what did Rock Basilisk do to you?
Nothing. It's never done anything to anybody, which is why it doesn't need to be banned. But yeah, even a more targeted ban I'd be into, because I'm assuming that ban would target dual lands.
Yeah. I wonder what cards they're having trouble with. I wonder what like the biggest issue is as far. I mean, dual lands have got to be pretty high on that list as far as like cards that people feel pressured to spend money on. The thing with dual lands is that you only have one of each of them anyway, so it's not like you need sets of them.
I know, but it's still you consider the prices that they've reached recently. It's
I know it is. It does mean you have to spend $500 on your deck, probably, or more.
Yeah, an Underground Sea and a Volcanic Island for 2 of your 100 cards in your deck.
Right. Yeah, and you're locked out of playing black-blue pretty much. Yeah, if you're not rich.
Exactly.
So yeah, I get that. I totally. And there's enough. There's enough alternatives to dual lands with all the pain lands and different mana fixing lands, ramp options, and fetch lands, and just that whole broad, whatever you want to call it overall. But like, there's alternatives to dual lands.
That is true. One other thought I had actually when I saw this was, why does anybody care what the rules committee says for Commander?
Especially for Commander, because for Commander, people are
But then I also kind of get it. It's like, it would be nice to have a fixed set of rules, even for a casual kitchen table format, especially because when it gets this big, you have tournaments. You want to travel. You want to be able to set up tournaments.
I totally agree. Yeah. I like having official rules with some, a little bit of flexibility for your casual play. Like, that's fine. Like, have some flexibility.
Otherwise, if you want to travel, if you want to go to your local LGS and sit down and play with people you don't know all that well, it's like you're going to have to open up every game, having a lengthy conversation about what is and what isn't allowed for this particular group, for this particular game. So it's just
you already kind of have to do that, maybe, like, it seems like, when it comes to things like proxies and just like power level of your, like deck, which is okay, but
I haven't gotten into
get to a minimum.
I haven't gotten into Commander, and the thing that makes me like think maybe I won't be getting into it anytime in the near future, or the conversations I see about power level. Like some people get abnormally angry about like people trying to potentially win a game of Magic. Which is strange to me.
It seems like, there are some strong opinions about power level in Commander, and what's acceptable like at a table. And I don't know. I wonder if that might just be like some extra loud, angry internet people, and most people are chill. You know,
it probably is. Yeah.
They were just talking the other day, I think, about. Do you remember what they were talking about? I think it was Soul Ring.
Soul Ring's not too powerful, is it?
Well, but it's very powerful, like I think it's, it's power 9 level powerful for the most part, but it's just common. It's been printed many, many, many times. But like, it's still a very good card. So
I saw a funny article, actually. I can't remember who published it. It was like a year-end wrap-up. And I think it was titled something along the lines of like the 10 most powerful cards printed this year or something. And it was just 10 different versions of Soul Ring that were printed this year, which really brought to the forefront. Maybe I didn't fully grasp the extent to which they were reprinting different art variants of cards. I would see different variants of cards with new art, pop up here and there. I'd be like, oh, this is amazing. I love this art. I'm going to pick up this copy instead. But then when I saw the list of 10 different art variants of Soul Ring that were printed this year alone.
Just this year? Wow.
Yes. I was like, oh, this is getting.
I know they've done Soul Ring several times. I've seen it pop up in some of these lists of different, secret layers and things. But
yeah,
I didn't know. Wow, 10 times this year.
Because it also, maybe more, but they just had 10 in this list. Because it popped up in different like special constructed decks and stuff, and it was in like Warhammer 40K. It was in everything.
Right, like precons and some of these. Yeah.
And they made up, which is totally fine, but they made like apparently made a different art for each one of these things. That's a little bit crazy. When you go to that extent, it also makes it's actually going to start to make it difficult to play the game. Like you should be able to.
Because you can't tell what the card is, you're saying? Yes. Like it's harder to, there's less recognition. Yeah.
If you're familiar with a format, you should at least be able to sit down across the table with somebody who's playing that same format and not have to read every single one of their cards when they lay them down. And when you have
I agree, it can be confusing when you get a lot of like variant art that you're not familiar with, and like, So Soul Ring is probably not so bad because you can be like, oh, what's that? You're like, oh, it's a Soul Ring. And like everyone knows what that does. But you still have to remember it when you're taking stock of the board every turn and paying attention to things. You have to, you might forget that something's out because the art's not sticking out at you.
Yeah. I'd like to be able to just quickly and easily recognize what's across the table from me. And that was actually one of the things that like the designers took into account at the very early days of Magic. Like the goal with the art especially was always to be able to easily recognize a card from across the table.
Huh.
That was like a mandate. That was like a mandate they were given. I don't know when that ended or if it ever officially ended, but that was something that they went for.
It seems like it ended.
Yeah. Okay, so that was the one little news segment that I saw. Please, yes, ban dual lands and Commander, man. I want to keep dropping.
Yeah, I'm fine. That's okay with me.
Pick up those volcanic islands. I want to pick up those underground seas.
Bayous.
Get those bayous. I haven't looked at bayou prices recently, but underground sea has been coming down for the last couple months. I was excited to see that. It's still, I think, above $500.
A few things have been creeping down, and so we'll see. I'm watching.
What did you have? Do you want to talk about before we got into Goblins, Alex?
Updates from last week. Let's see here.
Is this finance stuff?
Yeah, go to the weekly finances. One of them we mentioned the retro frame terror.
The interests?
Remember when we talked about that? Yeah, the interests.
Retro frame terror.
Yeah, it was the guy, like his skeleton and muscles and skin all eating themselves in a circle. It was sweet.
So this is, oh, yes. This is since yesterday, since last week. Terror retro frame. Whoa.
Yeah, there you go. That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Alex, people must have listened to our episode. They saw that art. They heard us talking it up. They were like, it's the shits. We got to get that. I hope this comes back down. I don't want to pay $3 for it, even though that's not a lot. I would pay $3 for this, actually. Let me take that back.
It's worth $3. It's so cool. I like the art, but it'll come back down a bit. Probably.
Yeah, but that was a big.
There's gonna be a lot of this out there, right?
I liked this too. I like the retro frame duress with this art.
Yeah, I kind of looked past that. The more I looked at it, I kind of started to like it a little bit more. And Tormod's Crypt also. I don't know if we talked about that really, but it's it's gone up too. All these have gone up to about $3 from a few cents. I know that's silly, but just thought I'd mention it.
Alex, they 10x'd.
10x.
Is this stuff on the market yet? Dominaria Remastered, or is this all weird pre-sale prices?
I'm not exactly even sure at this point.
I'm not sure either. I was gonna
so fast.
I know. I was gonna wait until see how some of this stuff settled out when it came to Dominaria Remastered. I haven't even looked into trying to buy anything yet. Now that we're on this page, I do want to say that I just looked at this page last night. Actually, I can't even remember why.
Sorry, it's still on pre-sale on. It's still listed as pre-sale on TCG. Yeah. Okay.
What do these prices mean then if it's on pre-sale? Like how did it 10x?
That's just what people have been. It's the same way they calculate it. The sales are still occurring; they're just not being delivered yet. People are like locking in a price, prepaying.
That's very weird to me for singles. People are ordering singles from boxes that haven't been opened yet.
Yeah, right. Isn't that sort of weird?
Yeah, and I guess that
you're going to get them.
I guess that does happen because I have read some stories. I don't know any of the details of this. I was just glancing through this post on MTG Finance. It was about an LGS. Somebody was warning people about an LGS that had changed their name. They were like, just beware.
I saw that too.
This place you see is the same place that used to be named this other thing not that long ago, and they ripped you off. And I was reading some of the comments, and a bunch of people were saying they put in pre-sale orders for this, pre-sale orders for that, and they were all being canceled. And the people weren't delivering, like the shop was not delivering things they promised to people or at the prices that they promised to people. And they just kind of tried to, like, I guess, wash that all away and like change their name and hope that nobody realized. But yeah, I think that was all like pre-sale shenanigans. So people do put in these pre-orders, even for singles. That just surprised me. The boxes make more sense to me, but the singles surprised me. I guess when you're a shop, you're like, if I have this many boxes, based on the rarity of the card, I'm definitely going to open this many.
Yeah. Well, I bought my first few Secret Lair single purchases were pre-sale purchases. But that also makes more sense because you're going to get those cards in the Secret Lairs. Yeah. I was wondering though, I did see people doing it with the foils I'm talking about the 30th anniversary countdown kit. And a third of them were foils. There was like a 30% chance for each card to be a foil is what it was.
Yeah.
And I saw foils for pre-sale, so it was kind of like, these people have enough boxes, ordered that they're like confident they're going to have like what, two foils of this card. And I'm like, seems a little, they might have to cancel some of these. I don't know. Who knows?
It's a little dicey. You could work yourself in like a big margin of safety though, and say, okay, 30% of them are supposed to be foils. I got 10 Secret Lairs. I'm going to offer one foil for sale. I'm going to be confident that I can get one foil. You can calculate the percentage.
Right.
But still, it's never a guarantee. We're talking about odds here, not guarantees. What I was going to say.
Are funny sometimes. Sometimes there's errors, and sometimes there's
Yes, that is true. Wizards screw stuff up all the time. Yeah. There was one thing I was going to say too. When I'm doing some fiddling. Fiddling with my computer. I saw this interest page last week Yeah, last night. I don't know what I said last week. This is the weekly interest page. And I saw this, Ravenous Baboons.
I was going to bring that up. That's on my list, yeah.
I never saw this card before. Ravenous Baboons from Exodus, 3 colorless, 1 red. It was very cheap.
Jumping ahead, Steve. Jumping ahead.
Am I stepping on your segment?
No, it's fine. It's fine. I was I was going to talk about it right after this. It's fine.
Yeah, it was one of the big movers, up 312%. Old market price, $1.21. Yeah, new market price.
I wonder why people noticed this.
Almost $5. I had the same thought. I looked at immediately to see if it was reserve list. It's not reserve list. It's just a cool card.
It is.
I was like, I would love this for a land destruction deck.
Ravenous Baboons is 1 red, 3 colorless for a 2/2 ape.
Yes.
And when Ravenous Baboons comes into play, you destroy target non-basic land.
It's a wasteland plus a 2/2. There are so many non-basic lands. You're going to be able to nail 1 land with this.
That's how I feel these days. Like with cards that affect non-basic lands, that they've just gotten stronger. All these decks we see have like almost no basic lands in them.
Yeah, you're going to be taking out something for this, and you're paying the price. You're going to be taking out something with this card, and you're paying the price of 1 Stone Rain and 1 extra mana for a 2/2.
1 mana, yeah. So it's pretty. I think it's pretty efficient.
Yeah, I like it.
At least back in that format,
Yes. I don't know what the kids are doing these days.
What the kids are doing these days.
What's happening in Pioneer or Modern, I don't know.
They might have glue-sniffing Ravenous Baboons.
They're playing their Pilferers, their Ravenous Pilferers. They're playing their, what's the monkey pirate?
The Ragavan, is that it?
Yes. They're playing the Ragavans.
Try saying it wrong. So yeah, those were the other update I wanted to mention was, and we had technical difficulties, so we lost a bit of our episode, but we were talking about the astrology lands last week.
Yes, we were.
And I brought them up because I noticed the art on the one planes is kind of cool. It has like wavy, weird, surreal art. And it was commanding quite a steep price, but down on the dips of this section, Steve.
I was going to say, how do I find that? Is it on MTG stocks?
Okay, keep going way down.
Keep going down.
And you can set like the parameters on like the settings on this page so that it only displays like a certain percentage range of changes. You know what I mean? So you get fewer results.
I like what I'm seeing here, Alex. Cabal Coffers still dropping.
Yeah, still dropping. That's good. I saw Metalworker down.
I like what I'm seeing here too. I like these. I like seeing these pre-modern staples dropping, Metalworker dropping, up less. Still expensive, only dropped 5%. Keep going down. Collapse.
I think it was down pretty far because it was towards the bottom of the.
Oh, I got to keep going down. Section. Okay.
Yeah, keep going way down. You're like up. Yeah, way down at the bottom. Way down.
I'm going. Way down. I'm getting distracted by all the card names that I'm seeing.
Yeah, I know. I can tell.
Because I wanted to. This one came up. This one I noticed. This one a little while ago. I'm going to add a dip to your.
Radiant Archangel.
Radiant Archangel. I noticed this person like a week or two ago, actually, because we talked about angels quite a while ago, and this is an angel we both liked and agreed that it should not be this expensive. It just like shot up from a couple bucks to $20. And it is plummeting. It is dropping from the skies.
Deservedly so.
Anyways, pick up your Radiant Archangels pretty soon. Now I gotta go all the way down, Alex. I'll edit some of this out.
No, don't. Because the whole reason I mentioned this beforehand was because I noticed a lot of noteworthy things in here. So I was going to have you kind of do this, like scroll through a bit and look at a few things. So it's fine. It was just not the order I expected.
Was it one of the largest drops?
Yes, it was one of the largest drops.
Okay, I got to keep going. Chain Lightning Retro Frame. I didn't mean to click on this. Okay, here we go. Borderless Carrion Feeder. Post Malone Island. This isn't holding value. Post Malone Island is plummeting in price. The Post Malone lands are very strange to me. It's just
a bit though.
Post Malone just scribbled on the lands. 25% drop in price, Alex. That's more than a bit. It's still too expensive. Okay. What were the?
It was around here, yeah. I don't know, but it was it dropped from. It had been up to like $90. That Plains. There's the Mountain. I think that's what might be one of them.
I don't know what this one is. Secret Lair.
Maybe not.
Was the astrology land? Was the astrology land part of a secret layer? Were they secret layer?
Yeah, it was a secret layer.
Okay.
Oh well, I don't know. We have to find it, but it dropped a huge amount.
I wonder why it's not here. Am I on the weekly? Am I on the weekly decreases? This is since yesterday.
I have it at. Let's see. I have on the weekly. I have it at minus 79% from $92 now down to $19.
Oh lordy. When were those released?
I think
astrology lands.
Over the past, I looked it up last time. Darn it! Now,
I guess why I'm asking that
they were coming out a few at a time, or like one at a time, over like the last few months.
I was wondering if that's definitely not a pre-release price drop.
I'm guessing that people just started receiving these in the mail or something like that. And so, happened. Like as they were getting them, they've been putting them up for sale, and it's made the price drop. Is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's freaking crazy. It's dropped 80%.
Yeah,
there haven't been many sales. This is very choppy data. But yeah, I went from like 90 to the teens. Current market average of $19.
Yeah, but I figured I had to mention it since we talked about it last week. But then I didn't know that we lost that from the last episode. So everyone out there, we talked about that last week, and now it has dropped. So
yes, Alex brought up the astrology land. He said he really enjoyed the art from the plains. I made an editing error, and then I accidentally cut it out of the episode. But here we are. Here we are revisiting it, and now they're cheaper than they were last week. That's good. I didn't want to because they didn't want to
deserve to be $90.
That's why I cut that out. I didn't want to advertise. FOMO. Yes, I didn't want to advertise the astrology lands for such a high price last week because I knew they were going to plummet.
Yeah. Well, a couple of things on this list I noticed. Crystal Spray was back up in the increases. It increased 56%. This is an invasion card. It went from $3 to $5.
I don't even know what Crystal Spray is.
It is okay. It's an instant. It's 1 blue, 2 colorless, and it changes a spell or permanent. Replaces all instances of a color word or basic land type with another until end of turn, and you draw cards. So it's one of those, prismatic altering type cards. It affects color card and land type, and you draw as a cantrip draw card effect to it as well. So it's actually not like a bad card. I don't know why all of a sudden this card is showing up on here though.
Well, it dropped big, but it looks like just a couple months ago it spiked big. So I don't know if this was part of some sort of attempted buyout where it went from 25 cents to $4.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or if there was some sort of format change. All of a sudden it became more playable in one format. Although this is the kind of card that you wouldn't think would.
It's got to be part of a combo that we haven't heard about.
Yeah, but it's
color changing thing.
It's a weird thing though to all of a sudden be like highly desirable as part of a combo because these color change cards have always been such a big part of Magic, and there's a ton of them.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, there's other ones, and I didn't see any of them jump. Like, unless we did, and I forgot. I don't know. Has Prismatic Lace jumped recently? Did we talk about that?
No,
probably not.
We did not.
So I saw that. Obviously that price change is very small, but I thought it was just interesting to me because I don't know why. Like, it's obviously being used for something. Someone's paying attention to it.
Yeah, I don't know what's
Ravenous Baboons was another one I noticed.
Love the baboons.
And I noticed on the ups this week were several Legends dragons. Palladium Wars, Arcades Sabbath, Chromium have all gone up about 10%, I think. And I'm wondering if that's because of the Megatron deck, like we were talking about with Tika's Dragon, or if there's some other dragon stuff happening. But those cards had been like kind of coming down from a spike, and now they're up like 10-13% or something this week. It's like, or more. Palladium Ores looks like they're saying 60 up to 75, 25%.
I bought them in the summer.
I remember.
Because when we started...
That was like the first thing you went after.
When we got back into Magic the Gathering, I was like, damn it, I always wanted Legends Elder Dragons when I was a kid, so I'm just friggin' buying Palladium. I'm buying my Elder Dragons.
Yeah.
And I did buy them at a pretty high price. But the prices I paid weren't really what I didn't really pay what MTG Stocks is saying they were going for at this point. I was picking them up on eBay.
I remember you got pretty good prices on them.
I feel like I get
relative to what they were going for online then. So yeah.
I waited. I looked for things that were at the condition I wanted and the price that I wanted. And I think I got pretty good prices for most of them. And I think they're all genuine. I got my little loop. I did the tests. I did the light tests. I looked for the red dots.
Once again on our list is Colossus of Sardia. I'm just noticing that again now. It's up a little bit again, up 7%, 43 up to 46. It's just up and down. We should start a list like check every week to see if Colossus of Sardia is on the list. Keep a tally of how many weeks it maintains either up or down, like enough to be on the big movers list.
I don't like this. I want it coming down every week. I need to establish my Colossus of Sardia position.
I see Frenetic of Freet is up a bit, and I don't know. I keep hearing people talking about the heads I win, tails you lose deck, which they've been like, it was like delayed, and they've been waiting for it.
It was delayed.
Coin flip things. Is Majagian coin flip? Is that why maybe it went up? We were talking about that last week.
It is.
I can't even remember if that's a coin flip card.
It is.
Okay, so maybe that's probably why that went up. That special.
I didn't think about that. I heard about that. It's a secret layer, right? The heads I win, tails you lose, whatever.
I don't think so. I think it's like let's look it up. I think it's like a pre-con.
Okay.
Or something like that.
But it was a special set or a special deck or something that they released that people ordered at least a year ago, right? And it's just...
Is it that long? I don't know. I know it was a while ago.
And it's just never...
waiting. It got delayed.
Yeah,
it is a secret layer. Okay, sorry.
Okay, I'm right about everything. Keep going.
Okay, you are.
I'm probably right that it was sold over a year ago, too.
It's a unique 100 card deck filled, so it is a pre-con and a secret layer. It's both things.
Okay.
Filled with tons of foils, 10 pieces of killer new art, a bunch of other goodies, like a unique flipping coin, and life wheel. Reversible cards, blah blah blah. I don't even know what a lot of this means. So I've loved Zindersplut and Okaun. I don't know what these words are. Ever since I made them in Battle Bond, and this commander deck out of my personal collection puts them center stage. Okay.
But yeah, that is interesting that maybe all these old card flip cards are flipping because people want to add them to their...
Maybe.
To that pre-con. They want to take something out and put in an old coin flip card.
Maybe.
Well... I want Frenetic Freet to go to the moon. I've already established my position in Frenetic Freet. I got my Frenetic Freets a while back. I'm into it.
How many did you get?
I don't know. I think I have 2. I might have 3, but I have 2, definitely.
This says Hall of Gemstones down a little bit, down to about 15 or 16.
I like that.
It's been coming down from 20.
I like City of Solitude coming down.
Yeah, I don't know. Those were most of the things I think that I noticed on here. Transformers cards coming down. It's not really
as they should.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. In other news, one of the other things I wanted to mention, I got a couple of my secret lair cards that I ordered in the mail, some smokestacks in Limdol's vault.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, I was happy to get those. They look nice. I got this see this? It's very nicely bent
Pringles. Oh man,
foil.
That's looking beautiful, Alex.
Foil forest for free with my order.
That's beautiful for your Pringle deck.
Did you say for my Pringle deck?
Yes.
This little hat is very nicely bowed.
That is crazy.
It wasn't this bad when I got it in the mail when I pulled it out, but I just like set it there and it shrinky dinked up even worse than it was.
Isn't it crazy that they sell product like this and then people are just like still into the foil?
It blows my mind. It blows my mind. Yeah. A, that they continue to sell that. B, that people are just sort of like, have like acclimated themselves to it or grown accustomed to it. They're like, oh, well, it happens. And, just got to put some heavy books on them.
Yeah. What you got to do is you just got to receive your cards and then you got to stack encyclopedias on top of it and you got to wait 6 months and hope that it's
not never use them
again. Yeah.
Never use them.
It's very bizarre. They should be embarrassed, like putting out products like this.
Foils are dumb. It's just another reason why I do not want, I have no interest in foils. It's like they look bad to me, and they do that. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't really like the aesthetic of them.
My smokestack, my non-foil smokestack looks nice, and my Tradewind Riders and Mishra's Workshops and was it the one I just said? I forget. Those were the big ones that I got.
Hell yeah! This reminds me, we didn't open.
Vault. Sorry, Limdo's Vault.
We did not open our secret layers.
I know we haven't. I know we haven't.
That means they remain sealed. That means we're now owners of.
I think so. I'm happy with that for now. We can always open them. We can never reseal.
No, we can't. We can't open them.
We can't. Okay.
Well, no, we could.
I think it's a good product to keep sealed. They sold out. There's potential foil versions of cards in there that people want, like a very limited edition Necropotence and the Mox. And so I'm happy keeping that sealed. I got the cards. Luckily, the cards I mostly wanted from it were cheap.
They were the cheapest.
I got them. I got a little stack of each of them, and I'm pretty happy keeping the little box sealed for now.
That's kind of why I did it too. I was excited when I looked up the price of the singles, and I was like, this worked out perfect.
Yeah.
The cards I wanted the most are the cards that none of the kids cared about. So you picked them up for like 30 cents, 50 cents, whatever. Yeah. And like nobody wanted the old new art Mishra's Factory because there's either the old guys have the money for the Antiquities Mishra's Factory or the new kids don't care about it. So
maybe I'm not sure. I think the new kids maybe are just like they've seen it printed a bunch, so they don't think it's very. You know what I mean? Like they're used to it being printed a lot.
Yeah.
But I think the art's cool, and if it's rare, I still think it's something that could climb in value. I'm not mad about that purchase.
I don't think it's going to get cheaper than 20 cents or whatever. No, those ones were like a couple bucks. They were a couple bucks.
Yeah, they were a couple bucks. I was paying like $3 something for the stack I ordered, and they might be down a little bit for that now. $2.
I think I paid between 2 and 3. Yeah.
But I don't know. If anyone wants that, they'll be hard to find eventually, I think. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I might be wrong.
No, I'm into them. I think they're good things to buy. If you needed some more Mishra's Factories, which I do. Last
thing I'll talk about is I randomly, while picking up some cards, cut to the card I was trying to remember from last time.
What is it?
We were talking about zombies, and I said there was a zombie with lots of big arms, like a big mutant crazy zombie. Mm-hmm. Vengeful Dead. I don't know if you want to pull that up.
I have no memory.
Vengeful Dead.
No memory at all.
We were talking about goblins, and then we segued into Gabagool. And
I remember
like Zombie Master and the tribal buffers.
Yeah, I have a memory of the conversation, but I have no memory of Vengeful Dead at all. And this would explain why.
It was called.
Yeah, because it's from Scourge.
Yeah.
Now's a good time to pick up your Vengeful Dead. It had a spike. It has now collapsed back to less than $1 a piece. Vengeful Dead, 3 colorless, 1 black, zombie creature.
Look at him go.
3/2. Whenever Vengeful Dead or another zombie is put into a graveyard from play, each opponent loses 1 life. This wouldn't be bad for the TikTok deck.
What's the TikTok? Did you explain that already?
My TikTok? No, I didn't. I'm not going to.
Next question. Next question.
The TikTok is what I want to name the deck, where I just play things that do like 1 damage to each person every turn. It just counts down. It's just a countdown till death.
But yeah, I like this because it's great for, it synergizes with graveyard stuff. It works with lots of zombie tokeny decks, and if they're going to summon your zombie tokens, they have to pay the price for that. It works on multiple opponents in commander games. Looks like a fun card to me. Doesn't have a lot of survivability, but
who cares? Who cares? You want him to die. You want him to do damage to everybody. You want him to drag everybody to the grave with him.
He does the effect too. So
if he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies. That's cool.
If he dies, you die. If he dies, I die.
You play fast and loose with that Vengeful Dead.
No, I like that card because I'm thinking about zombie deck too. I know.
I swear I must have been wrong, but I swear there was one of these in a stack of cards in a picture you sent me a while back, in the background.
No.
Okay.
I never bought a Vengeful Dead.
Well, I bought one a few weeks ago.
The card that I bought that I think you're probably confusing this with is Soulless One. Because I bought this as part of a larger purchase, and I had it with a bunch of cards. It was in a.
Oh no, I remember that. I thought it was because of the art. I thought it looked like something with those big crazy arms like that.
Also 3 colorless, 1 black. Also zombie. Also crazy arms.
Last time or whatever, but
yeah,
I like him. Works well with this card though too.
Zombie
Get all those zombies. Send all those zombies to the graveyard.
Zombie synergy. Zombie synergy is coming after the goblin synergy. After my goblin deck, it might be a zombie deck next. No, it's not. It's a soldier deck next, and then maybe zombie deck.
Well, those were the only updates I had from last time.
Those were your movers and shakers. Those were your finance updates.
Yeah, I had a few. I segued into the finance a little bit just because some of the updates were about finance, and we'd explain the astrology lands. But those were the things I wanted to bring up.
Okay, Alex. Well, now we're going to talk about even more pre-modern goblins.
Woo!
This is the second of our goblin segments. Last week, I reviewed what I consider to be my starting lineup goblins, the goblins that I think I'm going to include in every goblin deck that I build. Today, I'm going to talk about
baked potato goblins.
Baked potato goblins. Today, I'm going to talk about what I consider to be toolbox goblins, goblins that you bring in for special effects every once in a while. Spicy goblins.
Pico de Gallo goblins.
Pico de goblins. They add
sour
some
cream goblins.
Excitement to the goblin decks. The first of the spicy goblin / toolbox goblins I'm going to talk about is a Goblin Tinkerer. And this was a goblin that some people mentioned in our comments last week. And it is a goblin that I knew from back in the day. We had Goblin Tinkerer from when we were opening Mirage packs. I always liked this guy. And in the pre-modern space, where so many people play so many powerful artifacts, actually in any space, people play powerful artifacts. This guy's good in any format. You might want to have a Goblin Tinkerer in your goblin deck. Goblin Tinkerer is 1 colorless, 1 red. It is 1/2 summon goblin. And when Goblin Tinkerer is in play, you play 1 red and you tap to destroy target artifact. That artifact deals an amount of damage equal to its casting cost to Goblin Tinkerer. So most of the time, he's going to take out your Tinkerer, but not necessarily. You can use this guy to bust up Moxes the same way you use Mox Monkey, Gorilla Shaman to bust up Moxes.
That's the first thing I thought.
You don't have to worry about...
Or Soul Rings. I mean, he can survive, because he has 2 toughness. He can survive a Soul Ring Crush.
There you go. Which I don't think Soul Ring is legal in pre-modern. Moxes definitely are. But anyways, a lot of formats. This guy's good in a lot of formats.
Yeah, and if he's getting pumped from other goblins, he'll survive even more. But in any case, even if he dies, it's not that big of a deal.
That's true. What are all the medallions? All the medallions are 2 casting costs, I think, right?
That sounds right to me, but I can't remember. Sorry.
I don't accept your apology. I believe they are, But here we go.
They are 2 casting cost, yes.
Here's what I'm going to do, Alex. I'm going to say you play your Goblin Tinkerer, then you play your Goblin King to make Goblin Tinkerer 2/3. Then you're busting medallions left and right.
They can bust those medallions right up.
So I just left the screen of the Goblin Tinkerer, but Goblin Tinkerer has a current market price of like 16 cents. So it's very cheap to pick up in its original printing. The next Goblin I wanted to talk about, Alex, and this is one you may have never heard of. It was printed in Onslaught. This guy's great. I first saw him when I was watching some online pre-modern play videos. And I was watching somebody run a Goblin deck, and I think it might have been Goblin versus Elves, and they played Goblin Sharpshooter.
I have seen this card. Part of the reason is that it has been, and I saved this because I knew you were going to talk about it. I didn't want to bring it up too soon, but it has been in the interests page for at least 1 or 2 weeks, going up in price.
Well, Goblin Sharpshooter is a great card. It was a rare, first player in Onslaught, casting cost 2 colorless, 1 red, summon Goblin, 1/1. Goblin Sharpshooter doesn't untap during your untap step, but whenever a creature is put into a graveyard from play, you can untap the Sharpshooter. You can tap the Sharpshooter to deal 1 damage to target creature or player. So basically, if you're playing another deck where they have a lot of 1/1s, maybe another Goblin deck where they just didn't think they needed to play Goblin King, they were playing fast and loose with their 1/1s. They're like, I don't need this Goblin King. You're playing an Elves deck who's going to have a lot of 1/1 Elves. You're playing a White Weenie deck.
Someone who's using Birds of Paradise.
Birds of Paradise, you can shoot them out of the air. Basically, you can take out multiple 1/1 creatures in a single turn with the Sharpshooter because you just ping them, untap, ping them, untap.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about using it in the same turn. Yeah.
Neither did I because I'm stupid until I saw somebody play the Sharpshooter against an Elves deck and go tap, and just clear out all of their Elves. And I was like, holy crap. So the Sharpshooter is awesome, Alex.
Not bad.
And like the Tinkerer,
it is now $23 according to MTG stocks.
Yes.
Up 18% this week.
Okay. Right now they say market average price of $16.41, but yeah, like you said, it just rose this week. So maybe this will be updated on Monday.
Okay, I was looking at average, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, that happened. Yeah. But yeah, this is climbing. Has this ever been reprinted? I mean, it's not reserve list. It was reprinted in Commander 2013, so it's probably been a long time before it's had a reprint. It's been a while since it's had a big reprint. It's in a Secret Lair series. This is that Secret Lair series with that strange art style that you said looked like, what did you call it?
Cell shading kind of.
Cell shading, yeah. I'm not into these particularly, but they're more expensive. No. Is it more expensive than the original? I like the original. If you're looking at the artwork,
definitely, yeah.
I'm into the original. Yeah, the Secret Lair is actually more expensive than this. Like the Tinkerer, this is a great target for Goblin Matron. This is a reason to run the Matron. When I was talking about the Matron last week, which is the one that allows you, when it comes into play, to then go through your deck, select a Goblin, put it. It's like a Goblin tutor. Mm-hmm. So, the times when you want to clear out some artifacts, you matron for your Tinkerer. If you're playing a deck with a bunch of 1/1s,
Elves,
you matron for your Sharpshooter.
Yep.
So yeah, this guy's great, and it can just mow down your opponent's little creatures. Next one, Alex. This is a great one, and this is a reason why you might not want to run a lot of the red direct damage that you would typically run in a red deck, because you can have something like the Gem Palm Incinerator.
Interesting.
Gem Palm Incinerator is an uncommon, first printed in Legions. Casting costs of 2 colorless, 1 red, summon Goblin. It's a 2/1. You can cycle this card for 1 colorless and 1 red. So you discard from your hand, pay 1 colorless, 1 red, draw a card. When you cycle the Incinerator, you may have it deal X damage to target creature, where X is the number of goblins in play.
Oh, geez.
So you can cycle your Gem Palm Incinerator, draw a card, and then just like blast a creature on their side that's giving you trouble. So I think this is a good, this is a good substitute in my mind for different removal spells. in a goblin deck. I said direct damage. You can't use it to deal direct damage to your opponent, but you can use it to smoke a creature.
Creatures. But I mean, hey.
I mean, most of the time, no, I shouldn't say most of the time, but a lot of times you do use incinerates, lightning bolts to mow down creatures and not necessarily go straight at your opponent.
Right.
Current market price of $1.09. Not an expensive card, and it is what I think is a very good card. Been reprinted in dual decks and is reprinted in Dominaria Remastered. You could pick up an old frame version of it, although I like the original art better. It's more wild. It's more wild and crazy, and it's very cheap. So in these cases, I would always go for the original.
Yeah, I like that original art. It's creepy. Yeah, I like it because of it has a sneaky aspect to it. You know what I mean? They don't think you can kill their creature. Maybe you don't have enough mana left, and you can, kill a pretty big creature.
Yeah, you don't need a lot of mana. I mean, you can get a lot of creatures out quick with goblin decks. I mean, that's what goblin decks do. They go wide. Somebody plays like a big creature, 6/6, 7/7. They think you're not going to be able to deal with it. You gem palm it.
Yeah. Shoo.
Anyways, this is a spicy card.
Strange card. He has like the gems. Like, are they in his hand? Are they like embedded in his hand?
Yeah, it's like that rapper, little whatever, who got the $5 million pink diamond in his
little
head.
ruby hands.
They got it in his forehead. Lil Uzi Vert was it Lil Uzi Vert?
Oh,
This is where he got his inspiration. He was a big Magic the Gathering fan. He saw Gem Palm Incinerator with the rubies in his hand. He's like, I'm going to go extra hardcore right on the forehead. I think he did get it ripped out of his forehead at some point, like at a concert when he was stage dove or something, which everybody knew that was going to happen except for Lil Uzi Vert. He wasn't thinking clearly.
Yeah, someone's going to. Yeah.
It's crazy that somebody who would have a gem inserted in their forehead wouldn't be thinking clearly. But I wonder I think he got it back. Next goblin, Alex, is another spicy goblin.
I think he got it back.
Reckless
spicy
one.
Goblin.
Reckless one is a spicy goblin, first printed in Onslaught. It was an uncommon. It's been reprinted in dual decks or something, I think. Casting cost, 3 colorless, 1 red. It is a goblin avatar. I don't know why.
Okay.
It has haste.
Okay.
Reckless one's power and toughness are each equal to the number of goblins in play. So again,
that's
good with a
that's
wide
a classic
strategy.
kind of goblin card that I want to see.
Star,
it's like Keldon warlord like kind of thing going for goblins.
So somebody could think they're in an okay situation. They're like, all right, you got a lot of creatures out, but they're all tiny. I still got some time left into this game. I still got a few rounds, or maybe I could pull something big to deal with your horde. Next minute, you play Reckless one, attack same turn because it has haste. They're over. They're done with.
Turn. Yep. It's like half creature, half direct damage spell.
Yeah. Only thing that make it better, if only it had trample. If only.
Yeah, trample would be good. That
might be too good though.
Yeah.
But that'd be sweet.
Going up in price.
Yeah, it is. It's making major moves. Right now you can pick them up for $1.24. I would recommend maybe picking up a Reckless 1 or 2. Maybe get some Reckless 2.
Get some Reckless 2s.
It's recently gone from 60 cents to $1.20. If these trends continue, Alex.
Hey.
Who knows?
To the moon.
Who knows what would happen? The next goblin, Alex. This is probably the spiciest of all the spicy goblins I'm going to talk about today. Alex. This goblin.
Lay the spice on me.
Is not just a goblin, it's a skirk. Don't know what that is. It is Skirk Fire Marshal. 3 colorless, 2 red. Creature, Goblin Lord. I love lords in my deck. It's 2/2. It has protection from red, which is great with its ability. You can tap 5 untapped goblins you control. Skirk Fire Marshal deals 10 damage to each creature and each player. So it's protected from itself.
Wow.
It has an even bigger Inferno-like effect. And would be sweet in the deck that I want to build, which is going to be based on things like Inferno and maybe Skirk Fire Marshal, where I want to have things built into my deck that if I start to lose, I just go, okay, fuck it, we're both dying. And then I just blow up the whole board. And nobody.
It's very in character, Steve.
I want to build a deck that nobody will want to play against me with, because nobody ever wins. We just both die all the time. That'd be very exciting for me. I want to. What happens if you enter a tournament and you just draw every game? You probably don't advance.
I don't know the specific rules on that. No, I don't know how that works.
I want to build a draw deck. Skirk Fire Marshal would be good in a draw deck. It would also just be fun in a Goblin deck. I mean, Goblin decks are supposed to be chaos, right?
Oh yeah, and I mean, you know this is coming though, so you can plan for it.
Yeah, I like it because it introduces a different level of chaos into your Goblin deck, and it's not played in most Goblin decks that I see. At least not in like competitive Goblin decks. Maybe a lot of people play it just at the kitchen table magic. But I like this guy a lot. You have to have 5 untapped goblins. Don't always have, but it's not that uncommon. Yeah, it's not that uncommon in a Goblin deck, especially if like token goblins count.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you lean heavy on the really small goblins,
Small goblins, or that goblin I talked about last week, Siege Gate Commander, where you play him and you automatically generate 2 1/1s at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, you're more than halfway there.
Yeah, this is great with that card.
So I like this guy.
And he hits multiple people again. There's a lot of cards that are doing that we're seeing, and it adds an extra little facet to their use.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even thinking about him in a commander game, but you're playing like a 4-person commander game.
Board wipe, and it hits everyone, and it's less dangerous to you because you have more life, so it's kind of like even though the damage is less devastating, it's still it's more survivable for you. Kills all the big baddies out there.
Run him in a red white deck where you have he has protection from red. You run him with different knights that have protection from red, or other white creatures that have protection from red.
Oh, that's nasty.
The only problem is if you start doing that, like you might not have enough goblins to trigger his effect. You got to be goblin focused. You can't lose focus too much.
You need to have an engine or two in there for generating goblins. Some things that can. I don't even know what's out there that can make goblins by pumping mana into it or tapping.
They need to make a land.
Yeah,
maybe they already have something like this. That's like Kildorn Outpost.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Balduvian. You remember Balduvian Gate, or was that what it's called?
I don't remember that.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right? The land from the red land from Alliances.
I remember there's a red land from Alliances, but I don't remember it generating creatures.
I don't think it does. It's a Balduvian Trading Post. No, it does. I don't think it gives a bonus to them, it
does
damage to them. Yeah. It taps to add a red and colorless to your mana pool, or you can tap it and 1 to deal damage to deal 1 damage to an attacking creature. So it's not that great. I was always the reason I brought it up, though, I was disappointed by this card because I felt like it was a great opportunity to make a goblin generator compared to Kildorn Outpost.
Yeah. Kildorn
Outpost.
Kajeldoron.
I'm trying to. I'm working on it.
Kiel. I don't even know if I'm doing it right.
But yeah, you know what I mean? Compared to that, white had the token generator there, and it's
I know.
I feel like they should have done a goblin one for red to make it similar.
If anybody listens,
card better.
If anybody listens this far in the episode, if you know of a goblin generator, a token generator like that exists, and a set that we haven't gotten to yet, let us know.
In the comments.
Yeah, we can tell us in the comments. I won't be ready to play with it yet because I'm still only playing old border stuff, but maybe one day I would like to know what's out there.
Well, maybe they'll know about an old border one.
Yeah, I don't think there is one, but there could be. We could be forgetting. We could. Possible that we didn't get to it yet. But I like the Fire Marshal.
I like Fire Marshal too.
He gets me excited. And he's available for our current market price of $3.65 only.
He's up. He's up.
All the goblins are making big moves. He hasn't really been reprinted. He's just in dual decks on the list. Elves versus goblins.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I like him.
Okay, Alex. Here we go. Got some more goblins for you, Alex. We got a few from the comments. Some people left me some comments.
You added some new goblins from the comments?
Yeah, maybe there's some of their favorite spicy goblins. Awesome. And I was like, I haven't seen these before.
Thank you, people from the comments.
Thank you, commenters. One is, I didn't see this one before. One is Goblin Pyromancer. The Pyromancer is a rare from Onslaught. Casting cost 3 colorless, 1 red. Summon Goblin Wizard. Look at that guy. He's a Goblin Wizard.
Oh, yeah.
When Goblin Pyromancer comes into play, all goblins get +3/+0 until end of turn. At end of turn, destroy all goblins. So also very spicy.
That's like spicy. That's like you have to run to the bathroom spicy, maybe.
You're living dangerously here when you play the Goblin Pyromancer. Sure. You're like, okay, I'm either going to end you this turn or end myself. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I like that. Again, I said I like some spiciness in my Goblin decks. I like some excitement in my Goblin decks. I like chaos in my Goblin decks.
Yeah.
And the Pyromancer introduces some chaos. Edward Beard Jr. Didn't he do some of the original Elder Dragons? I think he did.
I don't know. I recognize the name, but I don't know what he's drawn. And that looks like that looks like a old Nicol Bolas or something.
Yeah. Let me do Arcadius Sabbath.
Oh yeah, Arcadius Sabbath too.
It's giving me Arcadius Sabbath vibes, Alex. Edward Beard Jr.
Nice.
You said Nicole.
Nothing but net, Steve.
Nicol Bolas. That should be like an unglued set or whatever. Nicol Bolas. Edward Beard Jr. He might have done all of them.
I don't think so. Some of them were different. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think he might. I think he did all of them.
Did he? They don't all look quite the same.
Let's go through them all. Chromium, Edward Beard Jr.
Dang.
Alex,
Palladium Moors. Them all now. If he did 3 of them, he did all of them for sure.
Palladium Moors definitely looked to me.
Definitely, yeah, looks the same.
Like Edward Beard Jr.
Yeah.
Oh, Vivictus.
I thought Vivictus and Chromium maybe weren't, but never mind.
Oh man.
Oh.
Vivictus did. I went Chromium third because I was like, yeah, that one looked a little bit different to me. Vivictus definitely looked different. Yeah. So he did 4. 4 out of 5.
Interesting.
That's weird.
Yeah, why not the 5th?
He got tired. Yeah.
He got tired.
Like, my brush doesn't move this fast. Bring in Andy. Andy ran in.
I got a cramp.
Yeah. Hand cramped up, the brush dropped. Andy comes running into the studio.
I'll knock out this Vivictus. Don't you worry.
Next, Spicy Goblin. I like this one a lot.
Oh wait, hold on. Go back. I wanted something I wanted to say about our last Spicy Goblin. And I know this is a pretty minor usage, but one thing that like caught my attention about this when I see it is that you can use him riskily, maybe, but you can use him to kill other people's goblins.
You could.
So if you're going goblin versus goblin, playing this guy at the right time might be useful to you. That's all.
You could. You could use this to kill their goblins and just play some kind of card that makes like creatures deal no damage for a turn, like fog or something. Isn't fog like that? And there are a bunch of things with fog-like abilities.
Something like that.
Also, even if you have like a Circle Protection red in play, sometimes you get tired of pumping so much mana in the COP red.
Maybe they only have like a couple like utility goblins. You know what I mean? They're like matron type goblins, or like something like that is less of an attacker, or that they want to. Maybe they've already even tapped it, or.
Yeah.
And you use it on your turn because you're summoning him, so they won't get to attack.
Wait, what am I thinking? What are we talking about? When Goblin Pyromancer comes into play.
Where am I?
What day is it?
It's cold.
It doesn't feel like Christmas. When Goblin Pyromancer comes into play, all goblins get +3/+0 until end of turn.
So if I use him on my turn against your goblin deck, you won't even get to attack with your pumped up goblins.
It does say at end of turn, destroy all goblins. Yeah, okay. I wasn't even reading that correctly when you first brought that up. I wasn't thinking straight. That is what it says. So in the mirror match, so I'm seeing goblins are big in pre-modern, Alex.
Oh, they're often so this is definitely a sideboard card for goblin decks.
There's often, if you look at the top 8s, the top 16s, like multiple goblin decks. So you're gonna meet up in a mirror match at some point, another goblin deck. Are you telling me I can sideboard the Pyromancer and then just play the Pyromancer and clear out the other person's goblins too? So you'd be clearing your goblins, but you play them in an intelligent way. You play them in a way where you only play this when they're ahead.
Yes, exactly.
It's like a balance for goblins.
You play it early on. You're playing it like turn 3 or something when maybe
you have your own goblins in your hands.
Yeah, you have 2/1/1s down just to skirmish, and they've put down 2 of their important goblins that they're gonna, a goblin king, a goblin, a utility goblin that they're gonna use. And then you're like, oh no, never mind, get rid of those goblins.
All you have on the board are like 2 Mog Fanatics. You play Pyromancer. You sack your Mog Fanatics anyways to do 2 damage straight to their face. And then you clear everything out. It does seem like it should work that way, right?
Yeah, why not? And you get to attack. You could attack with your goblins.
You could. Yeah.
Before they die.
That would be a great sideboard card for a mirror match. Next spicy goblin, Alex. This is the last spicy goblin I have. The next one, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to be playing this one. Goblin Goon.
Goon. I like seeing that 6/6 down there.
Current market price of only 38 cents.
Gets me excited.
It's a rare from Legions. Casting cost 3 colorless, 1 red, so it's 4 mana for a 6/6 Goblin Mutant. This is the superior Goblin Mutant.
Whoa.
Goblin Goon can't attack unless you control more creatures than defending player. You often control more creatures than your opponent in a Goblin deck. Yeah. Goblin Goon can't block unless you control more creatures than attacking player.
That's not a bad card. He's only 4
It's not at all. I know.
He kills a 5/5. I know that's ridiculous.
That is how it works, Alex. That's how it works.
Like I was starting to say Jin, but I was like, I know there's cards that have like replaced that or whatever, but like 5/5 is a common like. Here's my big thing that I got out early. Like
no, I like it. That's a lot of damage to be putting out on the board this early.
It's not an onerous condition.
No, if you have a ringleader out, which gives haste, I think the ringleader was the one that gave haste. No, there was one that gave haste that we talked about last week. War Chief. Which I think is just 3 casting cost. Then turn 4, you can be attacking with this guy that turn.
Heck yeah.
Let me confirm that the War Chief is the one that gives haste. And also is only 3 casting costs. God damn it, Alex, I nailed it. 1 colorless, 3 red, and goblins you control have haste, and goblin spells you cast.
So then he comes out, the mutant comes out for 3 casting cost then, after this guy.
Oh, yeah, that too. Wasn't even thinking about that, but yeah.
That's just dirty.
I know. So I like the Goon. He's obviously not played very often, because he's only 38 cents. And he's from Legions. There might be better goblins to play.
He's a rare too, right? Is he a rare?
Yeah,
it's like a gold.
It's gold.
Yeah.
I like him. I'm into it.
Dang.
That's the last of my goblins. There's another goblin that I didn't talk about, but I could see myself definitely playing this guy. I've gone back and forth. I think he'll probably end up in some of my decks. He's a mana. He's an accelerator, a mana accelerator in goblins.
Really?
Skirk Prospector. 1 red for a 1/1. Sacrifice a goblin to add red. So you can sacrifice him, to add a red. Might be nice to have.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. Why not? Yeah, I mean, you could block with a goblin and then sacrifice it, right? Get that red?
Yeah. You could do that. I was just thinking about like the 1/1s I would want to have. How many 1/1s do I want to have in a goblin deck? So
right,
I think I want to play the Mod Fanatics over this guy.
One, too many.
There were some other ones that I talked about last episode that I can't remember. Even though it was just last week. But I know there were other 1/1s. I mean, one drops in the deck. So it's just a matter of how many 1-drops you want to have in your goblin deck and which ones you want to include, which ones you want to exclude. But the Skirk Prospector, it's definite. It's mega ramp.
Interesting.
Mega ramp in a goblin deck.
Yeah.
So that's all I had for today, Alex. That was segment 2 of our goblins, of our pre-modern playable goblins.
That was wonderful, Steve.
Toolbox goblins, spicy goblins. It got me excited.
Great goblins.
I know. I was very into that. Very into that segment. I think we're going to wrap it up today. I think we had a successful Christmas episode. This was the first annual Old Men Magic Christmas Goblin Extravaganza. First of many to come. They won't all be goblins, but they will all be extravaganzas.
Oh yeah.
So I guess I'll just close the episode by saying, please follow us on YouTube. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell. We have 28 subscribers now, Alex. That's one more than we had last week.
That's awesome.
I want to try to get at least one new subscriber every single week.
Recruit your zombie friends.
That's my goal. It's a goal we should be able to meet.
Yeah, it's a modest goal.
We can handle that. One new subscriber a week. You can also catch the podcast if you don't want to watch us on YouTube. I also post just the audio on different podcast platforms. It usually comes out later than the YouTube. I need a few days. I have other shit to do in my life, man. I can't just, do all this the same day. I need a few days, finish stuff up at work. Then I usually convert the YouTube to podcast formats and I upload it to different podcast platforms. Those platforms are Spotify, Apple Podcasts. That's it so far. What else do I want to say, Alex? Follow us on Twitter. We do social medias. Twitter at Old Men Magic. Facebook, Old Men Magic. Nobody's there yet. That's it for social medias. No other social medias. No TikToks. No Instagrams. Maybe we'll have a TikTok. If we do a TikTok, Alex has to run TikTok. Well, Alex, will you run our TikTok?
Sure. If we do a TikTok.
Oh, okay. For a second there, I almost got you to commit to starting the Old Men Magic TikTok. Okay, I think that's all I have to say for today. You have anything you want to add, Alex?
No, just that. Thanks for listening. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Yep. Merry Christmas. Talk to you next week.
Bye.